If you are feeling more alone right now during this holiday time, especially since you're not with your person, then let's talk about how we get you through this time. So for many people, the holidays can become a time of big stress, of mourning, of sadness, of longing, especially when they are not with their specific person. Everything all of a sudden feels louder, there's more lights everywhere, people seem to be happy and they have all of the happy posts, and that can bring, of course, many people to feel more lonely than the rest of the year. So the holidays can be quite loaded when it comes to emotion. So when you see other people, other couples, that of course can cause some people to question themselves, like, why don't I have it? What's wrong about me? Why is no one there with me? Why is there no person reaching out? Why are they not caring about me? But what's very important is that missing someone during the holidays does not mean that you have failed. It often is for many people one of the hardest time in the year. And it is completely fine to feel this way, even if you have felt completely okay before. The holidays often just amplify any kind of attachment and memory that we have, especially when it is connected to a certain person. So what we will cover in this video is what not to do right now during this holiday time and what to do, especially if you have no one to spend your holidays with. What not to do. Don't reach out just because it is the holidays. Don't go stalking on their profile. Don't try to find out what they're doing, what's up with them. So no online stalking, even though it may be completely tempting, but it is a no-no because it can just drag you down even further. Also important is don't use holidays as proof that you are not wanted, because it has nothing to do with it. And what we especially don't do, don't compare your life with the pictures of other people, because people usually they only post the good stuff, right? You don't know what happened seconds before or after this picture was taken. So we don't compare, because you never know what's going on behind closed doors anyway. But before we cover about what to do on those holidays, this one is vital. This is not the time where you fix, oh, let me see if I can manifest my person around the holidays. You can do that if there is no big friction, no big separation. Then you can do it if you're not in a very vulnerable or emotional state. But other than that, this time of the year, it's not the right time to force any manifestation, because often it comes out of lack and need and longing, and that will not make it better, and it won't work, and it just can create even more frustration. So around this time, many people actually start spiraling. Also in the spiritual or manifesting communities, where people are now starting to think, oh my God, what are my blocks? Why is that person not there yet? What do I have to do? What can I do different? What was preventing my person to be there right now? It's not the time of the year to really analyze yourself, not when you are in a heightened state. It actually is a time period that calls to reflect, but only if you can do it in peace. Otherwise, I would, however, advise to take note of the thoughts that are coming up, write them down, and once you are past the holidays and you're in this more lighter state again, then you can see what were the limiting beliefs that were showing themselves, and then you can tackle them. So what you can do is you can check the description box, and I have a free ebook with the 3 most common blocks when it comes to manifesting, and you can get that for free. If you want the entire book, where I give you all 18 common blocks that I found during this work, then of course you can also find the link below and get it on janinenicole.com. But that is for later, not when you're already spiraling. This is the time of the year where it is more important to stabilize yourself. So now let's talk about what you can do, even or maybe especially when you are going to be alone during the holidays. I already said we are not going to do much, okay? It is important to soothe yourself in a way, maybe to create some kind of ritual, something that feels good to you, and it doesn't have to be anything big. I don't know, going for a walk, a specific route. It can be sitting down with your favorite show and watching an episode. This is about feeling comfortable. It is not about productivity. You don't have to do anything in order to feel better. You don't have to do anything to fix anything. This is just ask yourself, what can I do right now to make myself feel better? And then you do it. Unless, of course, it is stalking the other person. That's a no-no. Do things that are relaxing. It could be meditation. If you are a musician, great, do music, paint, color anything, whatever it is. as long as you feel like this is grounding me. But let's talk about what you can do if you know you're going to be alone on Christmas. Most important is make a plan. Because the thing that actually hurts most is unstructured time, not knowing what to do with your time. And loneliness can actually spike when you feel empty and you feel like there's nothing to do. But even a tiny plan can reduce the feeling of being pulled down, the kind of emotional free fall. We want to prevent that. Important is this is not about just distracting yourself. This is about containment. So what can you do? You can already ahead of the time decide to want to watch a specific movie. You can already decide ahead of time if you want to order a special takeout. If you want to do that, then you can already check now if that delivery service is open, if that restaurant you want to order from is open on Christmas Eve. If not, come up with a different plan. Or you can already order it beforehand and then just heat it up. Treat yourself to something nice. But we want to avoid that on Christmas, on the big day, you are going to be disappointed because you wanted to plan something and it is not going to work out. The restaurant is closed, whatever. You do the research before. Try to create a very intentional day instead of just trying to get through it. Very important is this is not about pretending you're not lonely. This is about not leaving your nervous system on that day with nothing to do. Another thing is don't hesitate to reach out to a friend just because of pride or shame. Maybe you have a friend that would welcome you into their family. That is something my family always did. When we knew there was someone, when my parents had a friend, they would welcome someone into our family. I remember when I was a child, there were still the army bases around Germany, and my parents heard on the radio that those young soldiers who were far away from home were looking for families they could spend Christmas with. And so we invited a young woman that remained a friend of the family for several years to come afterwards. Just be honest. Just ask if you have people you are close to. And maybe you have several people in your vicinity that would love to welcome you to their Christmas family tradition. Maybe you have another friend who is also single and has no family in the area or is not in touch with their family. Ask that friend to do something. It doesn't have to be something big. I mean, if you want to do something big, do it by all means. But maybe you just want to watch a movie together, bake Christmas cookies, or avoid anything that has to do with Christmas. Whatever it is. Maybe you have a friend who feels just as alone, and it is always better to be alone together than to be alone. Because loneliness actually eases when it is witnessed. Being alone together is very different from being all by yourself. Another thing you can do if you feel called to it is make a plan for a short trip. It doesn't even have to be anywhere fancy or anywhere far. It can be basically just your neighboring town. Or it just could be a day trip. This can actually help quite a lot. Why? Because your memory is fixed to a specific place, especially if a person you're missing has been to that place, to your place. The brain links places to emotional memory. And if you go to a new place, something that there is no memory connected, then the sad feeling will not come up. Familiar environment can trigger those feelings of loss and also stored emotional loops, and that is what we want to avoid. So if you stay in the same place, that would just enforce the longing. If you go to another place, you have fewer emotional triggers, you have less automatic association with your specific person, and your nervous system gets to experience something new instead of the old repetition. And another thing is your brain switches from memory mode to orientation mode, trying to figure out this new area, this new surrounding. A new place doesn't have the same old emotions and memories attached to it. And that is why your system won't feel the feelings that you would feel when you stay at home. It's just supposed to be neutral ground. It doesn't even have to be anything excited. Just neutral is fine. And again, this is not about running away. This is just about giving your nervous system a pause from the constant reminders. And of course, after Christmas, we have New Year's. And also your New Year evening, it doesn't have to be any dramatic, big evening. I mean, again, maybe you have friends you want to hang out with that you can either invite or ask them if you could come. If you cannot be with your specific person, maybe you have family you can hang out with. But even if you're alone on New Year's, that is okay too. New Year's Eve, it's about continuity, not about resolution. You don't have to change your completely entire life by January 1st. So just stay kind to yourself. No pressure. Pressure is your enemy. What's very important is holidays are emotional containers. They're not deadlines. Nothing needs to be resolved by this day or by January 1st. And also, love is not measured by dates. Often, especially when we are in separation, it doesn't feel as bad as it does feel about holidays, but it's just like any other day. It's just the meaning we give to it. And it's absolutely okay for you to not have big holidays. Instead of big expectations, you can make them smaller in a way that you feel comfortable. Another thing is, if you're in separation, absence does not erase connection. Okay? It does not mean if your person is not reaching out that they don't love you anymore. It just means that you haven't been in a state yet to manifest them permanently. And again, you don't have to be done by December 31st. Take your time. This phase will pass as well. And then after the holidays, you go back to work, you get back to reprogramming your subconscious mind, and then you can manifest your desire. Period.